Today I have a repair video on the TWCS by Thrustmaster. This throttle controller is part of the T16000M HOTAS, which also includes a separate joystick. Today I'm just focusing on this throttle control. This is what I have the problem with. The main throttle control slider, as you move it from 0 up to full throttle, it jumps around, and I'm going to show you this on the control panel in Windows. Now, a quick note I just want to make before we move on to the control panel is that if you have any kind of problem with your throttle or any other controller, you should always update the drivers and firmware first. You want to eliminate the possibility that this could be a software problem. If you go to the Thrustmaster website, at the top, I'll provide this address in the description, but this is the support page for the T16000M FTS, and if you go to the drivers section here, it says package 2022 TFHT1 plus firmware, Windows 10 11. This is the driver package that I'm talking about. In this case, this particular driver package will update the drivers and firmware for both the joystick and the throttle in one. That's just very useful. So you've got the game controllers, properties. You can see the problem we have here. All the other controls, by the way, are working fine, like the left mini stick. All the other buttons, controls on this are working fine, the rocker switch there. But the main throttle control, this is on 0 now, but it's still registering some value. And then as you move it towards full throttle, in the mid-range it seems to be okay. It's just at the two extremes, like at the top. In the middle it seems like okay, but I think as you get past halfway, it starts jumping around again. That is the problem with this joystick. Now, I already suspect that this is a problem with the potentiometer. It could have suffered some water damage. It could have some dirt build-up over time that's gotten inside the potentiometer. Potentiometer itself could have worn out. There are metal sliders, and I'll show you when we open up the potentiometer. But the metal sliders, as they slide along the carbon trace, that carbon does wear out over time. In that case, you would need to replace that. I'm really hoping that in this case, we should be able to just clean it, and then we won't have to replace that part. So I'm next going to open up the controller, then have a look at the potentiometer, open that up, and see if we can repair that. Then let's turn it over. I've never opened this before, but I'm assuming if I take all of these screws out, we should be able to remove this panel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Right, let's take this off. Let's just be careful. Okay. That's the bottom. Here we have the main control. I cheated a bit. I did see another video where someone actually did open this up, which is why I was quite optimistic that this might be the problem. You can see here as you move this up and down, it's attached to this arm here, and this arm is attached to the potentiometer. If I just pull that up gently, I've detached that now. I think the most difficult thing is going to be opening this up. I'm going to try and zoom up a little bit closer. If you have a look over here, I've got some small tweezers and I've got a little screwdriver. I think there's one clip here, and there's another. This is on this side of it. There's probably another 2 clips on the other side. If I can get underneath this clip here, get that there. I've opened that one up, and then there's another one here. I'm doing this as softly as possible. There we go. I just pushed this way, so I didn't need to unhook the other side. I'm going to remove this now. Okay, and let's have a look. It actually looks very clean, but I will use some alcohol, maybe a small brush, to see if I can clean that up. I've got myself a cotton bud, or in American, Q-tips or cotton swabs. I'm just going to run that around a few times. Okay, just running that around the full circle. You need to be careful with this, is fibers can get stuck on any sharp parts, so sometimes it's good to twist the swab as you go round. I'm just turning this around now to dry this up. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't think I can clean that anymore. I'll just have a quick check and then I'll put this back together and see if anything has changed. One more thing I'm going to do before I put the potentiometer back together. This part here, which is the metal contact, I'm going to clean that up as well. Because there might be some oxidation on that piece of metal there, so I'll just clean. It's the part where in the middle you can see here it's raised. On the other side as well there's a part that's raised. I'm just cleaning that now. I'll just dry that up with a cotton bud. I'm just going to put this back again and see if that has done anything. Okay, so I've put all this back together. I've put the casing back on top, and I've reattached the slider. Now, one thing I didn't mention that I also cleaned, this plastic casing also, I cleaned that with a cotton bud as well. And this slider also, I noticed that there was a little bit of grease on this end piece here that goes into the middle. That could potentially cause a problem, so I cleaned this first, just the bare tissue, and then I soaked the tissue in a bit of alcohol and then rubbed it again. Can push that, okay, onto here, and then as you can see here, this is moving again. And then turn this round. Before I put this back together, I just want to show you this is sliding up and down. I'll just go over back to the control panel. As you can see already, it does look promising because the throttle now is on 0. There shouldn't be any green, that Z-axis, but as I move this towards the top, you can see now it's moving. This is quite tight on the tension, so it's moving in jumps. So this is on full throttle now, and as I slide it down to 0, you can see that this is working perfectly now. In this case, with the actual main throttle control, it's a very easy repair in the sense that you can access that very quickly, and you only had to take that panel off. I'm not going to show you putting that panel back because it's pretty straightforward. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will include a link to the Thrustmaster website where you can download software and drivers, because you should update that software before you try to repair anything. Thank you very much.